Cheating wife went insane when I told her I'm taking my money and leaving after finding out what she was actually doing on a business trip. Been reading for months, and when I started, I truly thought we'd reconcile. Of course, I, 39M, never saw it coming and truly thought we'd be that old couple that makes it. Married almost 12 years, together for 14, known her for 20 plus. D-Day was October 30th. No smoking tool, just a gut feeling that made me look at her, 39F, phone one night. I've never looked through her phone before that night. Like so many others, I wasn't wrong. That gut feeling rarely is. She'd gone to a HS reunion in August. I didn't go with them as it involved flights, and we have 2 kids and no local family to watch them. Ends up being a lot of money to see people I barely know and don't care about. I'm the breadwinner. She's been a som for 10.5 years, since our daughter was born. Looking back, there were plenty of red flags of terrible, misusable behavior. Not as bad as some I've read, but enough that I should have set hard boundaries and walked years ago. Anyway, it seems the relationship kicked off there. She swears nothing happened there, and he's not a BF from her past, but I don't believe a word she says anymore. She had a family member go into hospice in September, so I rearranged my work schedule to watch the kids so she could see them one more time. The family member ends up passing, so she extends her stay for a week to attend the funeral and mess around with her new boyfriend, apparently. Lots of texting via FB Messenger after that, including how they're meant to be together and are so in love. Puke. Even attempted to meet up with him in Nashville to attend a game, which she actually asked me to go to, and I agreed. It's a high school friend. I trusted her then, and didn't think anything of it. At the time I was traveling every other week for work, and there were attempts to have him come visit. We live on the East Coast, he's in North Dakota, and she invited him to stay at our house with our kids. He didn't seem comfortable with that, and they seem to have had a falling out shortly before D-Day. She went kind of crazy pursuing him, and even after the falling out it was clear she was still strongly in limerence with him. Anyway, my world was devastated. Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Couldn't work. Desperately did the pick-me dance for a week, maybe 2 weeks. Got some support from family, friends, and a coworker who's been through it too and is 2 years into the curve. Learned to focus on myself, something I never did in our relationship, exercise and read. Still desperately wanted her. Or maybe just my comfortable life back where I wasn't so hurt and betrayed. She didn't know what she wants, is lost. It's not about him. Loves me but isn't in love with me. And all the other BS lines that we all hear. Somewhere around the beginning of December, I was reading No More Mr. Nice Guy and committed to a firm boundary. AP had to be NC and out of our lives, or I would end us. I'd told her in the beginning during the pick-me dance that I was terrified of losing her. Told her that day I wasn't scared to lose her, but just didn't want to. And that I wouldn't hesitate to end us if she didn't respect me. I still don't know if she didn't think I would follow through or truly wants to separate and is just too weak to pull the trigger herself. Ultimately, I suppose she wants her cake, the nice lifestyle I provide, but the fun of doing whatever she wants. Like so many others I've read about here that have helped me learn how to handle this situation. She's selfish and feels entitled. Told her on January 6th myself on the advice of my attorney, your state may be different, follow their advice, and told her they would contact her to arrange to have her served. They've tried to contact each other, and she's avoided it since. She's always run from her problems and avoided them, hoping they'd just go away. To be fair, I've always accommodated that behavior. Sorry, sweetheart, you can't run from this one. I'll take a financial slap. That part sucks, and I'm very soured on marriage as a result. I've always viewed what I make as ours, and it was supposed to be. It's BS that she chose this path and is somehow still entitled to my retirement and home equity. But that is what it is. I try not to be too bitter and get hung up on that. I've been focused on skiing with my daughter, 10, and playing Nerf tools and plastic army men with my son, 5. I continue to exercise. I know there'll be a battle coming up because I don't think she's accepted the reality of the situation. She can't fight me for the house and I can buy her out, so she'll have to leave. We're still cohabitating. The state will require her to find full-time employment. She has a 4-year degree, held teaching certificates in 3 states prior, and had a few years of teaching experience before she got pregnant with our daughter. She doesn't want to teach anymore and told me not too long before D-Day. I can't imagine having to work at a regular job. I roll sorry sweetheart, you made the wrong choices if that was the case. I handle almost everything that you would consider adult real life for us. She's effectively a 12 years old trapped in a 39 years old body. Real life is coming at her like a freight train, and when it slaps it won't be pretty. I get sad thinking about it, because I do still love her. You can't flip a switch and shut that off, though the feeling is ever so slowly starting to die. Indifference is the goal, and I can almost see it way out there in the future somewhere. I just have to continue to do the work to get there. Anyway, I know this has gotten long, but figured it was time to tell my story. It always helps to get it out, and each time I do a small piece of the weight lifts. I'm lucky to have a strong family, friend, and co-worker support structure around me, even though much of it is via phone spread around the country. In addition to just wanting to post this for myself, I hope it can inspire someone whose D-Day was yesterday. Or maybe the same as mine but struggling. Or maybe 2 years ago, I tried to and was having questions. I'm not saying isn't possible, or the right path. The other partner needs to be invested in it. And thinking of you, the BS. Not themselves. My STBXW is only focused on one thing, herself. In the clarity of the moment, looking at our lives, she always has been. Time for me to do better. For anyone still reading and dealing and hoping to find a path forward, here's what worked for me. This sub. I can't tell you how many hours I've spent reading stories and comments. While the comments guide you mostly to leave your cheater, they're not wrong. They're hard truths that take some time to accept. You can't control another's behavior, and this happens to good people all the time. Thanks to all who post in here, the support is amazing even if you never post a word yourself. r/divorce_men is also a good one if you're male, in my situation, and not looking to and have questions. Lots of support there too. Exercise. I'm not obese, but wasn't in my best shape going in today. I'm down about 15 pounds and after about 2 to 3 weeks I was able to eat again, so it's not just from starvation. Once you feel better about your body, you'll feel better about dressing well too. Look good, feel good has been my line to myself. Do things for you, no matter how small. Eventually you'll work your way up to big ones. My STBXW invited me to go with her and the kids to something the other day. She continues to keep her head in the sand and act like all is normal, and if she ignores it, it'll all go away. Additionally, I think she just wanted help with the kids, so it wasn't so hard on her. I declined. In the past, I'd have felt I had to go, even if I didn't want to. Sat at home, listened to some music I like, and had a beer. It was wonderful. And hopefully a taste of my future life without such a selfish, miserable person hurting me. You can do this. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Push past your fear. Make your life what you want it to be, not what someone who doesn't care about you wants it to be, a doormat/meal ticket for them. We have reached the end of the story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. Comment 1. I assure you, you are no chump. You, good sir, joined the legend camp. You are one of these inspirational guys here, and I hope you keep us updated in your journey. OP reply. Thank you for the kind words. I'll wait a bit to consider myself in the legend camp, I still have a long road ahead. Right now I maybe consider myself an enlightened, healing chump. And a chump only in the fact that my ability to assume the best of people, especially the woman I chose to marry, and my blind trust for her got me in this mess to begin with. That and my inability to set and enforce boundaries. If I had, I probably wouldn't have married her as the red flags of selfishness, immaturity, and lack of empathy were all there. Wouldn't have the kids I have though, so there's always a silver lining. Comment 2. Why don't you confront her AP and tell him to sod off? OP reply. I did, via text message. The POS never replied to me, but told her. She flipped out and went off on me about how I was messing around in her personal life. I think that's when I started to lose any faith in reconciliation. It wasn't long after that when I laid down the firm boundary of NC with him, or I'd file. She made her choice, or made the mistake of thinking I was bluffing. Comment 3. So are you saying your wife never wanted to reconcile, but is now pretending you're not getting divorced, or did she try to pull a false reconciliation? Did you notify his wife or his family? OP reply. She never said much. I wanted to reconcile. She was confused. Didn't fall in love with me anymore, but wanted to find it again. But I needed time to figure it out. Something like that anyway. All I asked was for her to get into therapy and go and see with her AP. That was too much to ask, apparently. I guess it boiled down to she felt entitled to feel out this relationship with him whilst still getting all the benefits of being with me. And I was supposed to be okay with that and just wait and hope she'd fall in love with me again. I don't believe he's married. We're in New England, he's in North Dakota. X's face was priceless when he saw how much I have changed after he left for AP, who ended up as a simple housewife. So 11 months ago my then husband left me for an AP. They had an emotional affair. It was a textbook illibinally. Confusing infatuation with love and comparing a 13-year mature relationship with the limerence of an affair. During that time I met a man I didn't know. He would become cold as ice, telling me how unhappy he was for years. How he never loved me. That I was perfect, but he deserved someone more special. Other days he would be a crying mess, hanging on to me for dear life. Looking at me as if I was just the most precious thing he was losing. He pulled a face then that I will never forget. It was like my old husband was in there watching this all but unable to help me or to change anything. He would well up, and it would be this combination of sadness, regret, and shame. All it ever did was give me this unique feeling that I call hateful disappointment. I hate how much he disappointed me. How little he did to save us. I know AP came for him hard, but all he had to do was say no. That is it. But he kept feeding it until he was in so deep he couldn't go back, so I have been out of contact for like 8 months, have not seen him. All I pick up is that he is bringing AP everywhere, and they try to explain they did not have an affair, but she helped him through his terrible divorce. It was over within a month, so, yeah, terrible. People tell me she is a bore and a basic B. I know that. I don't care. I keep joking she must be looking really pale, as she can't get under my shadow. Anyway, I heard he was happy with AP. He is telling the story of how she showed him what real love is, and how happy he is. She is the one. She gets him, he never felt this way. Fun fact, he said all this before about me. Anyway, I have been losing weight, and I look hot AF. I get a lot of compliments that I look radiant. I was driving and as per usually, I was singing and smiling in my car. Now I like cars and I saw a very pretty one from the brand my ex works for. It pulled my attention. I never look at other drivers, but I was looking at the car. It was my ex driving it, and I only noticed because he was startled, and that made me look at the driver. There it was again. That sad teary-eyed face. Like the love of my life is trapped in the body of an incredible a-hole bound to make it work with a woman so far below me it is ridiculous. I was too slow to respond. So he only saw me smiling. Like always, like the person I always was. Happy-go-lucky and full of life. I had the same feeling, only now it is a bit muted. I just think, you sad, sad man. What have you done? What have you won? I hope she is worth it, but I know she's not. More importantly, I know he isn't worth it. By Felix. We have reached the end of the story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. Comment 1. Let me ask you this, if he did everything he could he win you back? Like, damn baby, I don't know what I was thinking, type crap? Just curious, OP reply. Honestly, I don't know. I want to say no, never ever, but I would be lying. I just hope I am strong enough because he does not deserve me back. I have grown a lot and realized I was too much of a giving spouse, I was too low maintenance. I was happy with him just saying he loved me, but never actually doing something sweet or romantic. I am not sure if he could handle the woman I am today. Next to that, he said some things that will haunt me. I am bored in bed. He always wanted kids, but not with me, after making me postpone my child wish for 5 years by saying not yet. Oh, and that my personality, intelligence and humor never mattered to him. Cool. FYI, I am on the dating scene, my personality and bedroom skills are slapping it out of the park, so yeah. So he would have to have done a lot of growth, so much growth I think he is not capable of. That being said, if he came back at the wrong moment in time, like if I just broke up or was having a low time while dating, I might be vulnerable to again romanticize my past and fall for it. He has some redeeming qualities compared with other cheaters. He never badmouthed me, ever. Maybe to his schmoopy, but not one friend or family member heard one bad word about me. Only how perfect and amazing I am, but schmoopy was just the love of his life. It was a bit confusing in the beginning because people assumed we would be alright after hearing him talk about me with such respect. So that is one thing I am thankful for. Comment 2. What does illy binally mean? I got I love you but dash, and that's as far as I got. Congratulations and love yourself. Big steps after a long relationship ending. OP reply. I love you, but I am not in love with you. It is a classic all the abandoned spouses around here know too well. It means they think limerence is true love and the mature love they feel for you is suddenly not enough. It is a sure sign your partner is in lust/limerence for someone else. They, however, refuse to see it that way and will tell you they have never been happy with you, although you have evidence of them being happy for years and they never ever complained until some dumb little coworker went for them. Comment 3. Be thankful it happened now, not when you're 55 or older. OP reply. Exactly that. COVID sped things up. He was feeling miserable and bored, just like me. We were home all the time and our country had strict lockdowns. I now know he would always have done this. Mind you, this coworker was the first woman ever to come for him. I had been rejecting coworkers for years. I work in a male field and am far more attractive than my ex ever will be, and it is not even hard. My ex-brother-in-law met the same faith only when he is in 40 IES. Talking with him, I realized I married the same entitled, selfish people. She would have always done this to him. There is a big difference in our resilience. He still admits that she is the one and hopes she comes back. He has a LT girlfriend, and he still thinks about his ex. I see more through the true love facade they fed us for so many years. But 13 years and 28 years is a big difference. It sucks, life isn't fair, but there is nowhere to go but on.